When I first moved into the narrow brick duplex on Hawthorne Street, everyone warned me about the man next door. "Keep your distance from Adrian Voss," Mrs. Calder from across the street had whispered while pretending to trim her roses. "He's not right. Not right." It was the kind of phrase people use when they want to say something worse. I didn't think much of it. Every neighborhood has its ghost story. Mine just happened to mow his lawn at exactly 7 a.m. every Saturday. Adrian Voss was quiet, precise, and unfailingly polite. He waved once when I struggled to carry in a bookshelf. His smile was small and practiced, like he'd rehearsed it in a mirror. His yard was immaculate. His trash cans were always exactly aligned with the edge of the driveway. At night, a single lamp glowed in his living room window until precisely 11:15 p.m., when it clicked off. People said he was a psycho. No one ever said why. The first strange thing I noticed was the sound. 3 soft thuds against our shared wall. Every night. 9 p.m. exactly. Thud. 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 Not loud enough to complain about. Just loud enough to be intentional. At first I thought it was plumbing. Then maybe exercise equipment. But the rhythm never changed. 3 knocks. A pause. Silence. After a week of it, curiosity began to itch at me. One evening, I tapped back. 3 knocks. I held my breath. Nothing. The next night, again. Thud. 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 I knocked back once more. This time, after a few seconds, I heard something I hadn't before. A faint scraping sound. Then, 2 soft taps. I told myself I was imagining it. But the following evening, it happened again. 3 knocks from his side. I responded with 3 of my own. Pause. 2 taps that it became a ritual. 3 from him. 3 from me. 2 from him. Every night at 9. I mentioned it casually to Mrs. Calder when she cornered me at the mailbox. "That's odd," I said lightly. "Adrian seems routine-oriented." Her expression tightened. "You shouldn't interact with him." "I'm not interacting. It's just noise." She leaned closer. "His wife disappeared 3 years ago." The word disappeared hung in the air like fog. "No body," she continued. "No charges. But people know." "Know what?" "That a quiet man with perfect lawn stripes must be capable of something terrible? That neatness equals violence?" The thuds that night felt heavier. 3 knocks. I hesitated. Then knocked back. 2 taps. My chest felt tight. I started paying closer attention. Adrian left at 8:15 a.m. every weekday. Black sedan. Same route. He returned at 6:02 p.m. Always alone. No visitors. No deliveries except groceries. One Saturday, I pretended to garden when he came outside. "Good morning," he said. "Morning," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. His eyes were an unusual gray, almost colorless. Not cold. Just distant. "You've been here 3 months now," he said. It startled me that he'd counted. "Yes. I hope the walls aren't too thin," he added. My pulse jumped. "They're fine." He studied me for a moment. Then nodded once and went back inside. That night, at 9, the knocks came as usual. But instead of responding, I pressed my ear to the wall. "Are you okay?" The voice was faint. Muffled by drywall. I froze. "Hello?" he tried again. I stumbled back, heart hammering. He'd spoken. Not random thuds. Not plumbing. Not coincidence. He was checking if I was okay. The next day I searched his name online. Adrian Voss. Age 42. Accountant. No criminal record. I found one archived local article, woman missing after voluntary departure. The woman was listed as Claire Voss. The article described no foul play. Just a note left behind. Personal reasons. Authorities found no evidence of crime. But comments beneath the article were vicious. He did it. Creepy guy. I always knew something was off. The internet had convicted him years ago. I told myself to let it go. But paranoia is contagious. The following week, I noticed something new. A small security camera mounted on the corner of his house, angled toward his driveway. Reasonable. But another camera pointed toward the backyard. And another near the side gate. Was he protecting something? Or hiding something? The idea grew claws in my mind. One afternoon, a delivery driver mistakenly dropped a package at my door that clearly belonged to Adrian. I stared at it for a long time before picking it up. It was heavier than it looked. I shouldn't have done what I did next. But I did. I opened it. Inside was a small digital recorder. New. Unopened. A chill ran through me. Why would he need that? To record what? Confessions? Threats? Theories spiraled. I resealed the package carefully and walked it next door. He answered almost immediately. You opened it. It wasn't a question. My mouth went dry. I thought it might be mine. His gaze held mine, unreadable. Then something unexpected happened. He sighed. I suppose you've heard things. I don't know what you mean. My wife, he said quietly. The word felt fragile. People think I hurt her. The silence between us stretched. I didn't, he continued. She left. She'd been planning it for months. I said nothing. She had depression, he added. Severe. She believed disappearing would be easier than explaining. My chest tightened. She sends me a message every night, he said. I blinked. What? He gestured toward the shared wall. The knocks. My stomach dropped. That's not. It's code, he explained softly. 3 means, I'm safe. 2 means, still here. We created it during a storm once when the power went out. The air felt too thin. She moved abroad, he continued. She doesn't want contact. But every night at 9, I knock 3 times. It reminds me she's out there. Still alive. My voice trembled. And when I knock back? His eyes softened, just slightly. I wondered if maybe, he said, someone else needed to know. They weren't alone. The world tilted. You asked if I was okay, I whispered. Yes. Heat flooded my face. All those nights I'd been feeding a ritual I didn't understand. All the suspicion. The internet searches. The whispers. He wasn't signaling a crime. He was holding on to hope. I swallowed hard. The recorder? He looked down at the package. Therapist suggested it. To speak what I can't say to her. That night, at 9, the knocks came. Thud. 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 My eyes stung. I knocked back. 3 times. There was a pause longer than usual. Then, instead of 2 taps, I heard something different. A single knock. Soft. Hesitant. The next evening, I brought over a plate of lemon cookies. He stared at them like they were an unfamiliar language. You don't have to, he said. I know, I replied. We sat on his porch, two people stitched together by drywall and misunderstanding. He told me about Claire's laugh. About how she loved thunderstorms. About how depression can hollow someone out until leaving feels like mercy. I told him about my own move to the city. How loneliness echoes louder than any rumor. Weeks passed. The neighborhood still watched him with suspicion. But I noticed small things they didn't. How he refilled Mrs. Calder's trash bin when she forgot. How he shoveled the sidewalk not just in front of his house, but mine too. How he returned a child's lost soccer ball with a gentle smile that looked less rehearsed each time. The cameras? Installed after teenagers vandalized his garage 2 years ago. The routine? A coping mechanism. The quiet? Self-protection. One evening, as autumn settled in, there was no knock at 9. I waited. Silence. Anxiety crept in. I tapped 3 times. Nothing. I stepped outside, crossed the narrow strip of grass, and knocked on his door. No answer. My chest tightened. I used the spare key he'd given me weeks ago, just in case. He was in the living room, sitting in the dark. Adrian? He looked up slowly. I didn't want to bother you tonight, he said. Bother me? It's been 3 years, he murmured. Anniversary of when she left. I sat beside him. You don't have to knock alone, I said. His shoulders trembled once, barely. At exactly 9:07 p.m., we stood together by the shared wall. He raised his hand. 3 knocks. I added 3 more beside his. In the quiet that followed, I realized something important. Proof doesn't always expose monsters. Sometimes, it reveals grief. The proof I thought I'd found, the recorder, the cameras, the rituals, had seemed sinister because I wanted a story that matched the rumors. But kindness rarely looks dramatic. It looks like patience. Like a neighbor who keeps knocking, even when no one answers. Like someone asking through drywall, "Are you okay?" The next morning, Mrs. Calder approached me again. "You're spending time with him," she said disapprovingly. "Yes. You should be careful." I met her gaze steadily. "I am." That night, at 9, the knocks came as they always did. Thud. 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 And for the first time, they didn't sound ominous. They sounded like survival. I knocked back. 3 times. And through the wall, clear and steady, came 2 taps. "Still here?"